ball. Glad you're with us on the Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week, and these Mets get ready to take the field. And this place will get awful loud in just a moment. But it's just a regular season game.
Yeah, right.
There's nothing extra attached to this.
Yeah, right.
It's just a regular season game.
Yeah, right. And the big problem with Rick Reed this year, walks. Consider this when we're talking about numbers. The last 2 years coming into the 1999 season, Rick Reed walked 60 in 425 innings. This year, he has half that many walks in 87 innings. So location has been a problem. And since he's not a hard thrower, then he's going to get hit around when he can't find the strike zone. He's got to control both sides of the plate. Location is imperative, and everything off the fastball. In other words, his breaking ball is relatively flat. Got a pretty good curveball occasionally, but the straight change and fastballs on both sides of the plate. That's what you can look for today from Rick Reed.
Chuck Knobloch stands in. He gets announced. He gets booed. Those are the Yankee fans booing him. No, I'm just kidding. He's hitting .268, 4 homers, 26 RBIs, and a nightmare start to this season defensively for Knobloch. The broadcast also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. Here we go. First pitch. Strike one. It'll be Knobloch, Williams, and O'Neill here in the first inning for the Yankees, who come in 51 and 33 on the year. Right back to Reed. Easy play for Reed as he was in good fielding position, a one-hopper. Knobloch is gone, and Bernie Williams will stand in. So as Keith Olbermann talked about in our pregame show, Joe Torre talking about moving the furniture around with this lineup. He's got expensive furniture. He's got good, young, expensive furniture. And he's got Bernie Williams batting second today, and again, Derek Jeter cleans up with O'Neill hitting third and right. Bases empty, one out. The ball.
Moving furniture around, Bernie Williams is the Baccarat crystal in that dining room or living room. Bernie signing a 7-year contract, $87 million.
Headed to another All-Star game on Tuesday night in Boston. Third time he's been a part of that team. It'll be the second time that he will participate, injured in last year's game, but went nonetheless.
Speaking of the number 2, the 13th time that Bernie Williams has hit second this year. But the big surprise in the Yankee lineup is Derek Jeter, who has batted in the number 2 hole for most of the season, batting 4th today.
Take a look at the Yankee All-Stars. David Cone, his 5th. Bernie Williams, his 2nd. He has been named to 3 teams, as I mentioned. Derek Jeter is 2nd. Mariano Rivera, his 2nd. He will not participate. A strike on 3-0. It's 3-1.
Charles Nagy of the Cleveland Indians named in Mariano Rivera's place. Mariano will be going back to his hometown right outside Panama City, Panama, for personal reasons. Legitimate excuse to miss the game.
From 3-0 to 3-2.
What is not legitimate, in my view, is when players say, I want the 3 days off. I've never understood that, never will understand that.
At least make something up.
Yeah, make something up. Smart about it.
3 balls, 2 strikes on Williams. 1 out, nobody on. Up the middle, tough play. Base hit. Alfonso did all he could The running speed of Williams just too good. That's an infield hit.
A lot of times base runners, fine play by Alfonso to make it even anywhere close, but Bernie Williams was going into his turn. A lot of times when guys who hit the ball think the ball's going to end up in the outfield, they end up running outside the line. Watch Bernie Williams swing to his right there, thinking the ball was going to be in there, and Alfonso came up with it. That's what this defensive infield for the Mets can do on a regular basis.
Here's Paul O'Neill. I thought something looked odd on that play. It was far too close. Pretty good throw over to first, and they nearly picked Williams off. Now he calls time as you look at O'Neill digging in with that 287 average, and Bernie Williams is going to dig at the dirt here at Shea Stadium. You never know what you're going to find when you dig at the dirt around this place.
Better than digging at the dirt of the Meadowlands, however.
Might find something. Might find something smiling back at you. Only a rumor. No fact involved there whatsoever. 1 on, 1 out. Paul O'Neill. First pitch to O'Neill. Hit well into right. At the track. At the wall. 2-0 Yankees in the first.
He did.
He hits number 9. He hit 24 a year ago. His average 287 as he stepped to the plate here this afternoon. He's been waiting for that for a while. 1 out, nobody on, and Jeter batting cleanup takes a strike.
First breaking ball of the game by Rick Reed. That's a dangerous slider. If you don't get it in on the hands, it goes into that vulnerable down and in area.
Good pitch from Reed, and the count 0-2 on Jeter. We watched Reed stay away with Bernie Williams. He came in with a breaking ball to O'Neill. Oops. 2-0 Yankees. 1 out, bases empty, 0-2 to Jeter. 2 gone. Tino Martinez has ridden one out of the park 14 times this year. He's driven in 54, hitting 274. Batting 5th in this lineup and taking a ball. Hey, guess what you folks missed?
And another 100 people just got off of the train.
A 1-0 to Martinez, 2-0. Bases empty with 2 out. Now 3-0 from Rick Reed.
Tino Martinez will be hitting here. Anything on the inside part of the plate, Scott Brocious on deck. But with 2 out and nobody on, Joe Torre will give the hit sign to his left-handed sluggers. Martinez is certainly one of them.
He fits the description. Took a strike, 3-1.
That strike was on the outside part of the plate. Good power hitters like that zero in on that smaller imaginary box, looking for the ball on the inside part.
Usually the only constant noise you hear at this ballpark, noise of jets going by overhead from LaGuardia. Right kind of noise here at this park this afternoon. 3-1 pitch, tailing delivery, strike 2.
One of those rare days where the noise can drown out the jets.
Martinez trying to keep this first half inning alive. Been a productive first inning for the Yankees, up by 2. Same pitch, didn't get the call. Maybe a little inside, and a 2-out walk puts Tino Martinez aboard and keeps this inning alive for Scott Brocious.
Pitch was just a little bit higher than that 3-1 pitch, but watch it tail back in. Was it on the corner? That is a very, very close pitch. That ball's waist high, so it couldn't have been called a ball because it was too high.
Pretty good indication as you saw Martinez on 2 consecutive pitches give up. So how much Reed's ball is moving back over the inside corner to those lefties. Strike 1 to Brocious.
That's that 2-seam fastball. Was it on the plate? Wow, close.
But Martinez got the call. He's at first with a walk. The 0-1 to Brocious. Reed doesn't get that pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's going to be a long afternoon if Rick Reed can't get pitches like that, because he's not the type of pitcher, just like Andy Pettitte, who can use the fat part of the plate to get guys out on. He's got to be given the pitches on the corners to be successful.
1 ball, 1 strike. Brocious pops it up. Shallow right center for Cedeno. Roger puts it away. The first half inning complete. Paul O'Neill dialing long distance. That shot into right puts the Yankees up by 2 in the first.
And I agree with Steve Lyons. I think the staple pitch for Andy Pettitte is that cut fastball inside along with his sliders. But the one thing that has also bothered Andy this year, the inability to get his changeup over. If he can establish that early, that will be a big help to him this afternoon, because these Mets are good, hard stuff hitters.
Ricky Henderson first up. Offering at the first pitch, strike 1. Henderson, a .297 hitter. He's hit in 19 of his last 24. He's hit 6 home runs, and he's number 5 in the league with 22 steals. Still at the age of 40, one of the better table setters left in the game of baseball. 1 ball, 1 strike to Henderson. One ball, 1 strike. Henderson. Jam shot into left. A good start for the Mets. They put their leadoff man on.
Second baseman and Mariano.
I'm already starting it here as we approach the All-Star break. I don't think anybody has done a better job of managing in Major League Baseball this year than Jack McKeon.
No, I agree with that. Absolutely. Cincinnati Reds in first place.
Holding off the Astros by a game at the moment. They put Jack McKeon in place there as Alfonso stands in to oversee the transition as they approach a new ballpark, deal with some of the younger players. Good person to have in charge. All of a sudden, here they are, not just dealing with younger players and trying to get something put together. They're a legitimate team to appear in postseason. They got a win last night from Steve Avery in Cleveland.
Might throw Bruce Bochy of the San Diego Padres into that mix too, after giving away a lot of high-priced talent, having Kevin Brown sign as a free agent, the trades with Arizona, Ken Caminiti going to Houston.
Batted misses with ball 2, 2-0, and it gets interesting already for the Mets in their half of the first.
How about this for a matchup? And a matchup's all part of the game. John Olerud's been matched against some great pitchers throughout his career. But what about Ricky Henderson and Andy Pettitte? Since Andy Pettitte came into the American League, he has led the American League in pickoffs with 43. 4 this year. Ricky Henderson leads all base runners in stolen bases. Pay to see this.
Alfonso jammed it. Sounded like he broke his bat. He did. The count 2 balls and a strike.
Look at the scouting report for Andy Pettitte. Needs to regain that confidence in the changeup. We talked about that. The cutter and the slider inside. And that's what he threw to Alfonso. And this is a very crucial start for Andy Pettitte. The Yankees have been known to talk about dealing Andy to another ball club. And of course, there are a lot of teams that talk about it, but it seems like all the hearsay has become more than just a rumor in Andy Pettitte's case.
Shot of Mel Stottlemyre, his pitching coach, on your left a moment ago. Alfonso trying to go to right. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There are a lot of different factors involved with Andy Pettitte as he makes the start here this afternoon, and the potential of a trade. New York Yankees, believe it or not, have financial considerations with regard to Pettitte, who will be due a big raise next year, and that just is the way baseball works these days. In arbitration, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And there's a look over to first. Henderson read it easily. When you look at what the Yankees face, Roger Clemens probably have to renegotiate. He has the ability to demand a trade after being sent to the Yankees from the Toronto Blue Jays. Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera will be due huge raises. Stanton's a free agent. David Cohn signed a 1-year deal. He's a free agent. There goes Henderson. Got a good jump and steals it without a throw. Ricky Henderson wins that battle with Andy Pettitte. The pitch was a called 3rd strike on Alfonso, so Edgardo was, I think, enraptured by the matchup as well. He paid to see it, and he just watched strike 3.
Ricky Henderson has a tremendous jump, but with 2 strikes on the hitter, your catcher, Posada in this case, wants the strike instead of coming out of there to throw out Ricky Henderson. You have a tendency to stay back more because your first responsibility is to try to get the strike, and that's what Posada did for Pettitte.
Runner at second, 1 out. Olerud takes a ball. I don't think Posada had a chance anyway. For the kind of jump Henderson got off Pettitte. He was wise to lay back, get strike 3, and now they deal with Olerud and then Piazza with a runner at second. 1 out at the moment. Olerud is driven in 52. He homered here last night. He needs a new bat the next time he comes to the plate as he grounds to Brocious. 2 gone. The numbers for Piazza: 18 home runs. The average at .307. Bats with a runner at second. Henderson 2 out. Mets down by 2 in the first.
That was that Mike fired out of here last night.
It's 2 out of 4 in the first game of this 3-game set. The 1-0 to Mike. Popped up to the right side. That ball will get out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Pretty good indication of Andy Pettitte's stuff in the first inning. He jammed Edgardo Alfonso on a 2-0 pitch. And then he jammed Olerud on that weak ground ball to third. And then Mike Piazza couldn't get around on the fastball.
There is the Quinella from last night. There's the other factor, Al Leiter, with his 2nd consecutive victory over the Yankees. The one prior to last night's win really turned his season around and got the Mets rolling on a Sunday night. Piazza strike 2. We gave you the reasons why the Yankees might consider a trade of Andy Pettitte. There are reasons on the other side as well. Here's a 27-year-old left-hander, 6'5", 225. Won 16 games a year ago, and he's won 2 games in the World Series. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runner at second, 2 out. Piazza's jammed. It's still 1-2.
Andy Pettitte's biggest win in postseason, Game 5 of the 1996 World Series against the Atlanta Braves. Series tied 2 games apiece, and Andy Pettitte beating the Braves 1-0 in Atlanta. And then he won the clincher in San Diego last year.
Runner at second, Ricky Henderson, a ball and 2 strikes, and Piazza gets out of there. Yankees have already traded their other big left-hander. Big in stature and big in importance to this team a year ago. 125 total wins, a staff led by their stopper, so to speak, in their rotation, their big game winner, David Wells.
You bring up an interesting point, Joe, because David Wells, we talked about Andy Pettitte in postseason play. David Wells, 8-1 lifetime in postseason play. And I get your drift. What if the Yankees get to postseason play, and if they don't, it'll be a shocking surprise.
Brian Cashman, the general manager of the Yankees, you have to think playoffs with this Yankee team right now. I mean, you're not building this team for a pennant run. You're building this team for a run through the playoffs and a hopeful trip back to the World Series. The 1-2 to Piazza. That's foul. And you cannot downplay World Series victories by young pitchers. I mean, you would know better than I would. Those guys just don't come along very often.
Exactly right. What's the option? The option is to turn Andy Pettitte around for the second half of the season instead of trading him. Make him more effective. Along, of course, with his help.
Another 1-2 pitch to Piazza. A foul tip, and the inning continues. Take a look at Andy Pettitte. Most wins since 1996. Pedro Martinez #1 on that list. The big reason why he's jumped over Pettitte is because of the 15 wins here in 1999. But you throw Andy Pettitte's name in with that list, you're talking about a good young 27-year-old left-hander who, granted, is struggling over the past calendar year. Piazza steps out so we can drone on about this. July 14th a year ago. Since then, Pettitte's 9-13 with an ERA over 5.5. So this has been ongoing since before the start of this season. 1-2 the count. Runner at second, 2 out. Piazza's jammed again. That's backing out of play, and Mike is battling Andy Pettitte.
That great baseball saying, in his kitchen. They are getting in Mike Piazza's 4-car garage right here. That last one almost hit Mike in the thumbs.
Is that all he's got is a 4-car garage? 91 million?
Maybe 6.
Runner at second, 2 out. Mets trail by a couple, first inning. Mike Piazza would like to change that. Down the line, fair. Mike Piazza does change that. In to score Henderson. Down to second, Piazza. It's a 2-1 Yankee lead. And now Benny Agbayani stands in with a chance to tie this game already with a base hit. Lays off that off-speed delivery. Agbayani was the big story around here. The first 27 games of his season, he hit .400, 10 home runs, 17 RBIs in his last 18 games. He's hitting only a .173, no home runs. 2-0. To give you the detail, first 27 games, 400, 17 RBIs. And in the last 18 games, he's driven in only 4. Up on the count here, however, 2 balls, no strikes. 3-0 from Pettitte.
Tougher for a manager to allow a young hitter, first-year player as Agbayani, to hit 3-0 than it is for a manager to allow an older, more experienced hitter to hit 3-0. We'll see what Bobby Valentine does here.
Swinging on 3-0, and he grounds to Jeter. That's automatic, getting over. And the Mets get only 1. A leadoff single by Henderson, a stolen base, and the 2-out RBI double by Mike Piazza. Action in the first after 1. 2-1 Yankees. well hit into left. Back is Leday near the track to pull it in. One down. We talked last week about Robin Ventura taking over that role, which, and you can argue this, at one point was held by Todd Hundley around here, is kind of the guts of this Mets team. And along those lines, you almost expect Ventura to play in this big of a series against the Yankees.
The Mets needed somebody. They have not really had a leader on this ball club. They've had talent during the 90s, but no leaders, with the exception of Todd Hundley.
Ball one down and into Roger Cedeno, number 7 in the league, hitting .331. Franco is sitting and watching, as he will for the next 3 to 10 weeks. Out with the injury to the middle finger in his pitching hand, and there's the splint on that middle finger. 2 balls and a strike. Big loss for any team to lose your closer, but when it hits the Mets and you can tap Armando Benitez on the shoulder and say go get him, you lose depth in that bullpen, but I'm not so sure how much, if anything, you lose from the closer role. 3 balls and a strike on Roger Cedeno. Ray Ordonez next. A 1-out walk to the top base stealer in the major leagues right now. Ray Ordonez will not be going to the All-Star game, but here's an All-Star, Garciaparra, to talk about his defense.
You see guys all the time like that on the highlight reel. I mean, you see Ray, what he does is unbelievable. He makes unbelievable plays. It's fun to watch. It's pretty acrobatic and everything, and it's thrill to watch. Do you try to copy it? Do you try to do it? Can you compare? No. You don't ever try to do that, but it's fun to see the way other people go about it and do it and be successful.
Nomar Garciaparra, who will be the starting shortstop for the American League on Tuesday night in Boston. That didn't take long. Cedeno running, and he steals second easily. Roger Cedeno now leads the major leagues with 44 stolen bases, and he didn't want to wait around for that very good Andy Pettitte pickoff.
Could very well be something that Ricky Henderson told Cedeno to look for off Andy Pettitte. The American League runners haven't picked anything off Andy, but perhaps Ricky Henderson had. And Cedeno with 1 out, in all likelihood, will try to steal third.
Oh, and 2 now on Ordonez. Talking about Nomar Garciaparra, at least for the last week or so, he has been linked in more ways than one with Derek Jeter, having a tremendous first half to this season. But he was overtaken in the fan voting thanks to internet votes that put Nomar Garciaparra in front of Jeter and put him in as the starter at Fenway Park. Cedeno at second, 1 out in the 0-2. Still 0-2.
Well, Ray Ordonez is a very, very good player. A spectacular shortstop, but he's no Derek Jeter.
He is no Nomar either.
No, nor is he Alex Rodriguez or an Omar Vizquel. They're too good of offensive players to be mentioned really in the same breath as Ray Ordonez, even though Ordonez, as we said, a better hitter this year, spectacular at short.
Cedeno stealing third on ball 1, and he steals it without a throw. What a weapon. What a weapon.
Three stolen bases by the Mets in the first inning and a third against a guy with the best pickoff move in baseball. No throw. This is an element that has really never been prevalent on the Mets ball club since their inception in 1962. The closest they have is the first base coach, Mookie Wilson.
The tying run at third, 1 out, infield in. The 1-2 to Ordonez is flied into left center field. That should tie it. Leday won't even look at Cedeno scoring the tying run. the second inning. So it's a 2-2 game. 2 out, nobody on. Ray Ordonez produces the run for Ordonez, RBI number 28. And Reed, a decent swing and a fly ball for Leday. The Mets got one in the first, get one in the second to tie. A 2-2 game into the third. Back to Shea after these messages from your local Fox station. There's a strike from Andy Pettitte to Benny Agbayani, underway in the bottom of the 4th inning of a 2-2 game. Bad hop and a base hit for Agbayani. Rocha's happy he wasn't in front of that, or he would have lost some teeth. That was a terrible hop that shot past his ear into left.
Benny Agbayani, growing up about 2 miles from Aloha Stadium, says aloha to a bad hop over the head of Scott Brocious. Aloha Stadium in Honolulu, where they play the Pro Bowl and the Aloha Bowl. University. Yeah, right. It's a good place to play the Aloha Bowl.
1 on, nobody out. Robin Ventura into left center field. Carrying well. Leday on the run at the track. Didn't play it well. Agbayani will head to third. They bring Agbayani to the plate. And the Mets take a 3-2 lead here in the 4th.
Excuse for Ricky Leday. Willie Mays told me that playing the outfield here at Shea is tougher than playing the outfield at Candlestick Park. The swirling wind and the Mets, after the bad hop single, score a run on a misplayed ball in left field.
There's a bunt to third. Brocious with a barehanded pickup, and he still has time to get Cedeno. Over to third is Ventura, 1 out now.
Shortstop Ray Ordonez.
Good squeeze situation. The Mets tried one last night and failed with Ordonez.
Ordonez pops it into right. Do you try it with a pitcher coming up?
Nope.
Ventura's coming to the plate. Safe as he got around the tag. And it's 4-2 Mets here in the 4th. And it's time to argue.
I think the Yankees have to argue at both ends. You argue at third, number 1, to see if Ventura left too early. Ventura had to cheat someplace. But Posada's not blocking the plate. This is a problem. A great call, by the way, by Jeff Kellogg, the home plate umpire. A fine slide by Ventura. Because by the time the tag is made, the foot's on the plate. But you got to block the plate. I mean, who's going to knock you over with the sore big toe on the left foot? Posada's inside the line. You got to straddle the line. I think the Yankees ought to appeal this play at third base, and it appears they're going to do that.
They call him safe. Ventura left on time. I think only because the pitcher was coming up do they try to score the runner.
Great call, Joe. I didn't think with Ventura's bad toe that he'd try it, but he tried it and made it.
Looked like he was swimming upstream as he came down the third baseline. But it is a lost art, and you would know better than anyone blocking the plate, and I give Jeff Kellogg, the home plate umpire,
Absolutely.
a world of credit. That's foul, which gives us a moment to talk about umpires. You know, we're always there to pick on a call when it's obvious on replay after replay that an umpire got it wrong. Well, an umpire just got it right. We did a game 2 weeks ago in St. Louis when the home plate umpire called Bobby Bonilla out on a play at the plate, a game the Mets eventually lost when he was clearly in before the tag. It's usually a case of an umpire giving the fielder the benefit of the doubt when the ball beats the runner. Well, the ball beat the runner there by 20. But Kellogg still called the play and called it properly. Jeff Kellogg got the call right. The Mets get 2 in the 4th. This, the 4th run of the afternoon. Ventura in around the tag, 4-2 Mets. Robin Ventura with terrific base running. Maybe not terrific base running, but an outstanding slide to get around this tag.
And a poor play by Jorge Posada. That's your blind side. That is the reason that catchers have more problems receiving a throw from right field. But if he's blocking the plate, he doesn't have to reach for the tag. When you block the plate, the runner in effect gets himself out. There's no reaching involved.
There was a chance for Jorge Posada, who has stunned the Yankees with how poor his defense has been this season, to make a play on Ventura, and he did not get in front of the runner.
Particularly when he's on his knees. Now he has to reach for the tag. He has to make the high tag, and the great slide by Ventura. Not only did he not block the plate, but Ventura went for that exposed part of the plate, and that's why he was safe. It's a sign of the times, though, Joe. How many times do you see catchers block the plate now? There are all these slap tags. Not only Jorge Posada, but a ton of guys trying to make that slap tag.
Combination which helped give the Mets the lead. Ledee missed playing that double. Posada not blocking the plate as Ventura came home on the sac fly by Ordonez. They go back to back to start this 5th inning and tie this game at 4.
Ricky and Jorge giveth and they taketh away.
Henderson led off in the 1st and the 3rd. He does so here in the 5th, and he lines one up the middle for a base hit. Ricky Henderson on base for the 3rd time today.
That's just a fine piece of hitting by Ricky Henderson. That is a tough pitch right there. But however, you can see Posada sitting inside and watch him go to his right in case Henderson swings through it. But Andy Pettitte missed his location then by about 9 inches. But good hitting by Henderson.
Here's that matchup again with Pettitte on the mound and Henderson on at first. Ricky may think twice now. It looked like he was reading the move easily. He stole second standing up, or at least without a throw, back in the 1st inning. But then left too soon, and Pettitte picked him off. It'll go down as a caught stealing 1-3-6 in the 3rd. Another battle between these two. The 1-0 count on Alfonso at the plate.
All great base stealers, when they're picked off, they're more determined to steal the next time they get on. Lou Brock was like that. Ricky Henderson's like that.
That caught the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike on Alfonso, who struck out and flied out. Edgardo Alfonso, another one of the New York Mets. Could have made a strong case for him being a part of the National League's All-Star team. Strike 2 on Alfonso, who's number 7 in the National League with 101 hits coming in. He's driven in 54 runs from the number 2 spot in this Mets lineup, which is number 2 in the National League to Jay Bell, who's knocked in 61, hitting 2nd for the Diamondbacks. On top of that, he's committed only 2 errors in his first year at second base in the big leagues.
How about that lead that Ricky Henderson just took? Almost a sprinter's lead. How many times do you see a base runner get off of first base and face second instead of facing the pitcher? He wasn't squared off. Talking about giving Andy Pettitte a lot of different looks over there. Look at this.
He draws a throw.
Taunting Andy Pettitte right now, or trying to.
And if nothing else, maybe not to steal a bag, but to give Pettitte one more thing to think about as he works to Alfonso.
Yep.
Time called at the plate before the pitch. Same lead for Henderson. And Alfonso bloops one into left. Late break by Leday, but he's there for out number 1. Ordonez with those 2 sacrifice flies. One of them scored Robin Ventura, which made it a 4-2 game in the 4th, but in the 5th, back-to-back, Ricky Leday and Jorge Posada. Solo shots to tie it at 4. 1 on, 1 out, and Olrud takes a strike. So the 2 steals and the sac fly for Ordonez was in the 3rd. That all actually transpired in the 2nd. It was 2-2 after 2. The Mets had a short-lived 4-2 lead. Could you imagine if the Yankee first baseman held runners on the way the Mets first baseman hold runners on with a guy like Pettit on the mound? First baseman would have no idea which way to go. Olerud, the man who does that for the Mets at the plate, takes a ball, 1 strike.
That's where John Olerud plays off the bag at first base and occasionally will break back to his left, back to the first base bag. To do it with a guy like Andy Pettit, though,
it's funny. Olerud has to be as good at reading pickoff moves as Henderson or Cedeno.
Sure, right.
Yet Olerud is a guy, as Posada makes a good play on a ball in the dirt, who has stolen only 1 base. Because of his speed, he can't use that knowledge on the other side of the game for the Mets.
That's why John's on-base percentage is a little murky and really misrepresented. He's second in the National League as far as on-base percentage is concerned. Derek Jeter's second in the American League on-base percentage. There's a lot of difference, however, when those guys get on first base. Jeter, a great base runner, not so Olerud.
2-1. Olerud takes ball 3 high. 3-1 with Piazza next. And now action for the Yankees out in their bullpen as Ramiro Mendoza gets ready. He is such a valuable component to this Yankee team. Pettit now trying to get through 5 innings. 1 on, 1 out. Olerud on 3-1, hits it down the left field line, slicing into the corner. That's a foul ball. And the count full.
Joe, you mentioned Ramiro Mendoza, and a lot of people are saying, well, if the Yankees trade Andy Pettit, then you can always insert Ramiro Mendoza into the starting rotation. He has about 10 starts this year. But I think those that advocate that forget how valuable Mendoza is in the bullpen. He has not been pitching well lately. He had a great start. Last 3 weeks, he has not pitched well. But if you lose him from the bullpen, put him in the starting rotation, then their bullpen suffers greatly.
Anderson, a late break back to the bag. You would think if there was a deal involving Pettit, some bullpen help would have to come back the other way.
That's right.
If not another starter, because if you take Mendoza out of that bullpen, and you're looking at Stanton, Erdos, Grimsley, Nolte.
Yep.
With the injured Jeff Nelson trying to set up Rivera, that is not a good bullpen. Runner goes as Olerud hits it foul down the first baseline. Henderson was on the move, but he'll have to come back as the count stays full on Olerud.
I think Ricky was smiling because shortstop Derek Jeter trying to make Ricky Henderson go for the decoy. With that ball grounded behind the base runner, a lot of times the base runner will have to depend on the shortstop and second baseman to show him where the ball is, and that's the wrong thing to do.
Go to first and Henderson back.
I can't believe that the Yankees have Jeter that close to second base, and Knobloch swung way around toward the hole at first. Olerud did pull a ball, but Olerud can hit a ball to the left side at least as well, and sometimes better against left-handers than he can pull it.
Henderson goes as Olerud grounds to second. Knobloch with that flip throw over to first, and that was not an easy play for Knobloch, as both the ball and Henderson got to Chuck at about the same time, but Knobloch picked it up. Doesn't get much on that throw as he struggles with a throwing arm, but he got it to first in plenty of time.
Maligned for his defense. It looked like Ricky Henderson was timing it to arrive when the ball did. That's just smart base running, jumping over it. It's like Chuck thought about perhaps making a tag of Henderson, but it was a good play on a difficult play.
An intentional pass being handed to Mike Piazza, with Benny Agbayani next. This is one of the easier decisions Joe Torre will have to make in the 1999 year.
Yeah, this is a no-brainer right here. Certainly nothing against Vinny Agbayani. But Mike Piazza in the first inning, after a bevy of fastballs inside, 3-run home run last night. He has caught 3 base stealers in 1.5 games, 2 this afternoon. He had that big double driving in run number 53 in the first inning.
And now it's up to Agbayani. We'll see if he faces Pettit or if they go to the bullpen. Guess they'll let Pettit try to get through 5. Same way the Mets let Reed get through 5. But there isn't much left on this leash. 2 on, 2 out. Agbayani, 1 out of 2 this afternoon. And a strike from Andy Pettit. Anderson a leadoff single. He's at second with 2 out. Piazza drew the intentional walk. Strike 2 in a hurry on Agbayani.
One thing Andy does not want to do now, and I'm sure Posada is aware of it, is throw Agbayani a strike. Try to expand the strike zone and make him swing at strike 3.
The 0-2. Rip foul down the line.
That's a mistake right there. There are so many times you look back over a 9-inning game and you look at the mistakes that a pitcher got away with. How many balls were fouled back on mistakes? See, this ball has too much of the strike zone. It's too good a pitch with the count, no balls and 2 strikes. You have to go lower than low in order to entice Agbayani.
Again the 0-2. There's 1 down and in, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And you have the luxury of doing it 2 more times. Counts only 1 and 2. Play on the fact that the hitter is a rookie and not an experienced hitter. More inclined to go after a bad pitch with 2 strikes.
His 3rd strikeout of the day, and Agbayani chased 1 out of the strike zone. We have played 5 here at Shea. Mets, Yankees, 4-4.
McMichael, after having 2 tenures with the New York Mets last year, went to the Dodgers, then he came back, and the Brian Bohannon trade was activated from the disabled list on June the 11th. So he started the first 2.5 months on the DL. He appears to be fine right now. 1 changeup after another. A guy who almost literally changes off the change.
Paul O'Neill first up for the Yankees. He is homered, popped up, facing McMichael for the first time. He's out in front. Strike 1. Back in the first inning, no doubt about this shot after an infield hit by Williams. Sounded good, looked even better. And Paul O'Neill hit number 9. Made it 2-0 Yankees, but the Mets came right back. 1 point led 4-2, the Mets did, but now it's a 4-4 game. Well hit down the right field line. That's his 2nd of the day. And the Yankees are back out in front 5-4.
What a sin to Paul O'Neill. Lethal on that pitch. Where was it? Wow. All that left-handed batter does is drop the bat head down on it. And that's what Paul did. Boy, did he hit that ball a ton.
O'Neill puts the Yankees back up by 1. And now Derek Jeter, who's 0 for 2. Deals with McMichael. Off the end of the bat into left. Ricky Henderson one away. Talk about how a home run sounds. Let's listen to that shot by Paul O'Neill. When they sound like that, it's not a matter of if, it's just how far. And really, when you talk about this Mets turnaround, Tim, 22-10 in their last 32 from that June 6th date, that night game at Yankee Stadium. Big reason why they've turned it around. Their starters are 17-5 over that stretch. The 1-2 pitch up the middle, base hit. And Alfonso so far over in the hole, and Martinez shot one back through the middle for a one-out single. One out for Scott Brocious. Change up low for ball one. One ball, no strikes. That's up 2-0. So McMichael does not have his good stuff here in his first inning of work.
See, that's one of the problems when you change off a changeup. The very definition of the word change means you're changing from something. If you continue to throw a change, it's all it becomes is a slower pitch, not a change.
The 2-0 to Brocious. That is straight foul. These guys are getting their ribs against McMichael.
Again, a change is meant to deceive the hitter, and when you continue to throw it, the deception leads.
McMichael for a while closed games for the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, had 31 years.
Doug Jones, long time in the American League, is a closer whose primary pitch was the changeup. It's rare. 2 balls and a strike. Martinez takes off on a base hit to left field. Martinez will stop at second, 2 on, 1 out. Back-to-back singles by Martinez and Brocious. The lefty Leday coming up. I wouldn't expect to see McMichael hang around too much longer.
Not with Rico Beltran ready in the Mets bullpen, and that is exactly who is coming in the game.
Right now, McMichael is on the hook. He came in, gave up a home run to Paul O'Neill leading off after Jeter flying to left. Back-to-back singles by Martinez and Brocious. Rigo Beltran will enter. Yankees lead by 1. 6th inning, a leadoff home run by Paul O'Neill. 2 hits after 1 was out. And Rigo Beltran takes over, the lefty.
So you have McMichael leaving with a good changeup, and Beltran coming in with a good screwball.
Runners on at first and second, 1 out. Yankees leading 5-4. That's foul. Get a jump on home run derby.
Yeah, I don't think Chad's going to see that pitch again. That was a slider down and in. Remember, we talked about Paul O'Neill. First time up, he hit the slider in. And sometimes your setup pitches, you don't get that far in the count. You get hurt on the balls that you're trying to set a hitter up with. That pitch was designed to keep Curtis away from the outside part of the plate so he can throw the screwball.
Well, we talk so often about screwball pitchers and how putting a right-handed batter up in this spot doesn't always work to your advantage. 2 on, 1 out. Curtis, there's the screwball, and that's why I say if you have a lefty up there and that screwball's action is down and into a left-handed batter, it's right in that sweet part of the strike zone.
Instead of going down and away from Chad Curtis.
2 on, 1 out, 0-2 the count. Curtis off the bench for the Yankees. 1-2.
It's interesting to note that not every pitch is designed to be put into play or even have the hitter swing at it. Some pitches are designed to plant the thought.
Beltran and Piazza get together on the sides, and Curtis is jammed. The count stays 1-2, and again likely set up for that screwball.
So it's slider down and in. Curtis jerked it foul. 2 screwballs, 1 in the dirt. On the 1-1 or the 1-2 pitch, he came back with a fastball.
Yankees lead 5-4, 6th inning, have 2 on, 1 out. There it is, missing 2-2 as Curtis laid off. Bobby Valentine watching from the Mets dugout. Bullpen at this point has let him down in this 6th inning. Looking, 2 gone.
Catcher Jorge Posada.
He finally threw the screwball in the barrel. I mean, that is a perfect pitch from Beltran. It's really a fine at bat by Chad Curtis, but he was just bettered by that nasty 2-2 screwball.
They also like to get Curtis in the lineup for a better glove out in left field. They have that residual effect after that pinch hit strikeout, and Posada turns around, bats right-handed, and takes a strike. Jorge Posada's already gone deep today. He left the gates open, though, and let a run get in for the Mets back in the 4th inning. He pops this one up. Long run. Can anyone get there? Down the right field line. It's a foul ball. Out of the reach of Olerud, and strike 2 on Posada. Posada struggling at the plate, struggling defensively. Earlier this season, they sent him on a trip to go get his vision checked. Vision tested fine, and he waits for an 0-2 pitch from Beltran. 1-2.
Joe, we had a shot of Ricky Leday, who had the flub up in left field today. He's had a few of those this year. He's not had a good year. One of the toughest things about scouting a ball player is to know that he's good when he's going bad. I think Ricky Leday's going to be a fine major league outfielder, but right now he's got to prove it.
Good work by Beltran as he comes in, strikes out Curtis, strikes out Posada. And in the inning, leading off, that from Paul O'Neill to put the Yankees out in front here in the 6th. 5-4 Bombers. Well, mission accomplished for Andy Pettitte off a 9-1 loss at home against Baltimore. It wasn't a thing of beauty. It wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but he leaves after 6 innings with a 1-run lead. He walked 4, one of them intentional. Struck out 3, and he gives way to a pinch hitter, Jeff Manto, who takes strike 1. Is that enough for Pettitte as a stepping stone to try to get things turned around?
Well, he's got a lead, but he gave up 4 runs in 6 innings. Now, granted, 2 of those runs, a case could be made that they should not have scored. The ball misplayed by Ricky Leday, and then Robin Ventura scoring on a ball that he shouldn't have. No blocking on the plate by Posada. No, I don't think you base it on. I mean, if he wins the game, you're more inclined to say that's going to do something for his confidence. But did he pitch well enough to win most games? Well, 4 runs in 6 innings is not a positive indication. It's not bad, but it's not good. Okay.
Here's the pitch up and in. Manto checked his swing, 1-2. The
left-hander, Rigo Beltran, with that screwball, takes an awful toll on the arm, particularly the shoulder and the elbow.
Manto strikes out. Beltran has faced 3, struck out 3. Leadoff man is gone here in the 7th.
Good fastball from Rigo there to get Jeff Manto.
Manto, usually a very good fastball hitter. Dennis Cook, another lefty, getting ready for the Mets out in their bullpen. Back to the top of the order, Chuck Knobloch, who has a bloop single, 1 out of 3 this afternoon. Right down the middle, strike 1.
Our pal Jim Cott, who was an announcer and a great major league pitcher for a long time, 26 years in the major leagues. There's Romero Mendoza. He'll be the pitcher in the bottom of the 7th. Had a great explanation for a screwball. And that was one right there. He was talking about a right-handed pitcher. Jim Messier was the person about whom he was talking. You can see how that ball goes away, the stress on the arm. But if you're a left-handed pitcher, turn a doorknob all the way clockwise.
That is hammered into left field off the bat of Knobloch, and another Yankee home run. 5 on the day and a 2-run lead here in the 7th.
Produced by the Yankees today, produced by the home run ball. 5 home runs in this game, and now Chuck Knobloch joining the parade. And the screwball grip. Now that looked like a fastball. High fastball to a high fastball hitter.
That had to feel good, Tim, for Knobloch, who touches off his 5th of the year. Guy who's had a little controversy swirling around him with the defensive trouble, but he didn't miss this high fastball.
Woo.
Still just a 2-run game, 6-4 the Yankees lead. A 2-run shot by O'Neill in the 1st, and then 4 solo home runs. 1 by Leday, 1 by Posada, 1 by O'Neill, his 2nd of the day, and that last one by Knobloch.
Another fastball by Beltran. You can see that ring finger becoming involved. Often that details a screwball, but upon release, he went to the fastball. Regrettably, as far as Beltran's concerned, happily, from Knobloch's point of view.
One out, nobody on, 1 run in, 2 balls and a strike. 2-2. I've never seen a guy who played in the major leagues for 20-plus years cower the side of a foul ball.
Well, you're going to see it again and again and again, and you know that, so you know what to expect. I'm gone. That ball hurts. Believe me.
It was embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing. There you go, using that word again.
That's right. That's your favorite word. Lean over here so they can see you.
I will duck that way because the wall's right here, so I can't go to my right. I never could go to my right anyway, but I can go to my left, and that's where I was going on that foul ball.
Which is right behind me.
That's exactly right. I'm gone. You're on your own. What do you want me to do? Push you out of the way? You're on your own.
2 out, nobody on for Paul O'Neill, who has gone deep twice today, and a nice ovation for O'Neill as he stands in with 2 out, nobody on.
Thought I was going to forget that doorknob story too, didn't you?
No.
I saved the doorknob story with Chuck Knobloch hitting. I thought that was a very appropriate.
I didn't follow that.
But
O'Neill takes ball 1.
Kitty did talk about that. He said if a left-hander's throwing a screwball, turn a doorknob all the way to the right. And that's the arm position when the ball is released by a left-handed screwball pitcher on the screwball.
Made O'Neill look bad on that swing. I'm going to guess that was the screwball.
I think it was a slider, Joe, because I do not think, like you said last inning, that left-handed pitchers will throw that screwball to left-handed hitters because it's in that volatile down and in area. So they resort to something else.
1 ball, 1 strike. That brings up another bone of contention between you and I.
All right.
2 balls and a strike. No, you can't wait to hear this. 2 balls and a strike. O'Neill hits it hard. Ordonez away into left center field. O'Neill is on yet again. He's going to test Henderson. O'Neill safe with a hustling double in the 7th.
Great base running by Paul O'Neill. Why was he able to go to second base? Because he ran hard out of the box. And he takes his turn and never slows down. Makes it rather easily in the second.
One of George Steinbrenner's favorite Yankees is Paul O'Neill. Now a walk will be handed out to Jeter, who will reach base for the first time today, and that means that Jeter will reach for the 82nd time in the 84 games in which he has participated for the Yankees this year. I forgot about our bone of contention.
I can't wait to hear it. Go. Go, Joe.
2 on, 2 out now. The walk to Jeter, and that leaves it in the lap of Tino Martinez. And I don't believe he's going to face Beltran. We're going to have a double switch.
First baseman Tino Martinez.
So a double switch. Brian McRae will come on. He'll bat in the 9th spot. Dennis Cook had been loosening, and that veteran left-hander will come in now. Double switch for the Mets. Another home run for the Yankees. Chuck Knobloch goes deep. Yankees up 6-4 in the 7th. This is Dennis Cook. 2 on, 2 out, 1 run in here in the 7th inning.
Dennis Cook, an invaluable man in the Mets bullpen, particularly with John Franco out of there. Serves as the real quality left-hander to face left-handed hitters in the 6th, 7th, 8th innings.
The Yankees have their first 5-homer game since May 4th of 1997 against Kansas City. A couple of years ago they flexed like this. They pounded 5 out today, and Tino Martinez takes a ball inside from Cook.
The Yankees have been the Queens Bombers today.
O'Neill, the runner at second. Derek Jeter on at first. 1 ball, no strikes. 2 on. 2 out. Tino to the right side. Alfonso to his left. Don't drop that line on me and then put your palms to the sky and go, well, it was worth a try. Chuck Knobloch goes deep. Yankees up by 2. Here's Brian McRae first at bat, batting in the number 9 spot, involved in the double switch. Mets find themselves down 2 as Mendoza watches Martinez bobble it, but recover for the put out 3-1. And Mendoza did his job. He never stopped going to the bag, and the Yankees get an out because of that.
Luxury of a first baseman when he drops the ball. Dropping the ball, not only drops it, but it goes behind him, and the wherewithal to pick it up and throw out Brian McRae.
The numbers for Ramiro Mendoza. I don't think those numbers are indicative of how big a part of this bullpen he really is. Already gone through it. He can start on relief. He can close for you if you needed it. And he hits the strike zone with the first pitch to Ricky Henderson, who is a perfect 2 for 2 plus a walk on the day. One ball, one strike. Ricardo Alfonso will follow, and then if anybody gets on, Olrud. Strike 2.
Joe, when you have a pitcher the quality of Ramiro Mendoza, it's almost like expanding your roster. He is so flexible as to be a starter or an effective reliever. It's almost like having 2 pitchers in one. Talking about a warrior.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Came back to beat the Expos this week on Tuesday night. Pitching 5 innings of shutout ball. Oral Hershiser with 1 day's rest. Almost unheard of in any age in baseball, but particularly in this day and age. That was Hideki Arabu, the fine starter who will be going against the Mets tomorrow.
1 ball, 2 strikes still on Ricky Henderson.
He'll be opposed by Oral Hershiser, who became only the 6th pitcher in this century, age 40 or older, to start and win a game on 1 day's rest. And the first to do so in 50 years. Bulldog for a reason. Talk about one of the more respected pitchers really in the last 50 years. That guy.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Henderson 2-2. On the other side, the other half of that matchup tomorrow, Hideki Arabu has started to show glimpses on a consistent basis of the pitcher the Yankees thought they were getting when they acquired Arabu from San Diego a couple of years back. Still 2-2 on Ricky Henderson.
Hideki pitching with so much more confidence his last 4 outings. May remember the spring training incident referred to as the fat toad by George Steinbrenner for not covering first base in a spring training game, and has recovered very well to give the Yankees something that they sorely need, a very effective 4th starter.
Here's a good indication as to why Ricky Henderson is still so dangerous at the plate. He will take pitches out of the strike zone all day long, and he has had the ability to foul off some tough deliveries from Mendoza. 2-2. Little pop-up behind first. That ball is trouble. That is a hit. Beyond the reach of Martinez, and Henderson on for the 4th time today, standing on second with 1 out.
Ricky Henderson is the toughest out I've ever seen. I'm talking about a home run hitter. The ball just out of the reach of Martinez. And now Ricky finds a little crease in the outfield. Canters into second base, turning it on when he needs to.
Situation in front of Piazza. Mendoza trying to protect a 2-run lead, and Piazza wants time. Coming into his at-bat last night with 2 on. Mike Piazza was 7 for his last 47 with runners in scoring position. He popped a 3-run home run. Already 1 for 1 today with an RBI double back in the 1st inning. He has a chance here in the 7th for the Mets. 1 ball, 1 strike. Just another game, right?
Yeah, right.
2 men aboard for Piazza. The go-ahead run at the plate for the Mets. 1. Torrey called on Ramiro Mendoza to work this 7th inning. The 2-1 to Piazza. Goodbye! Another 3-run home run! In honor of Yogi Berra, a beloved Yankee and Met, deja vu all over again for Mike Piazza against the Yankees.
3-run shot last night, and you talk about a bomb.
Agbayani off the end of the bat, late break by O'Neill, but he's there and the inning is over. A 1-out double by Henderson. A 2-out walk to Oru. It's just another game, right?
Yeah, right.
A 3-run home run from Mike Piazza. Their big money man delivers in the 7th, and the Mets are back out in front. 7-6 Mets after 7. Couldn't ask for any more on a Saturday afternoon. Yankees and Mets. Dennis Cook, his first full inning of work. Scott Brocious leads off 1 out of 3 with a single. The Yankees have hit 5 home runs today. As you look at Melvin Mora, who's taken over in right field for Agbayani. A 5 home run day for the Yankees, and we know one thing. It's not enough. The 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike from Cook. Brocious, then Curtis, and then Posada here in the 8th. Two balls and a strike from Dennis Cook.
I've got to tell you, Joe, that I have not seen too many balls hit farther than Piazza's ball in this ballpark. It hit the top of the tent, raised for the festivities of interleague play. If that tent weren't there, it lands about 70 feet behind the back fence in the parking lot here at Shea Stadium.
3 balls and a strike now on Brocious.
If you pay close attention, you can see the ball trickling down the tent and behind the bleachers there in left field. And it right on the top of the crease, the apex of that tent, raised behind the back wall in left field. It was some shot.
3-1 pitch. Brocious took ball 4, so now Cook turns around and walks the leadoff man in the 8th inning with a 1-run lead. Think he knew it?
Yep.
Still waiting on a measurement. As you look at the Mets bench reaction. And a cool curtain call from Mike Piazza.
Chop that thing up into about 14 singles.
A 2 home run.
Or 2 home runs, right.
Tying run is on for the Yankees in the 8th. A 482-foot home run. Ball 1 to Curtis. And now Piazza out to the mound. Talk to Dennis Cook as they buy time for their bullpen to get ready. Just mention it again. Coming into that at bat last night in which Piazza connected off Roger Clemens was 7 for his last 47 with runners in scoring position. He's 3 for his last 3 in those spots. And in these 2 games against the Yankees, 4 out of 7 with 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, and he's caught 3 on the bases. But the Yankees get a leadoff walk in the 8th. The 1-0 from Cook. Strike to Chad Curtis, 0 for 1 since pinch hitting for Leday in the 6th. One ball, 1 strike on Curtis. 1 on, nobody out for the Yankees.
Big hole on the right side.
Curtis, strike 2. Dennis Cook trying to pitch around a leadoff walk. It's a battle of the bullpens here this afternoon now. Reed is long gone for the Mets, and Andy Pettitte now had a win taken away. It's still a tall order for the Yankee bullpen to hang on, but a 3-run shot by Mike Piazza in the bottom of the 7th inning has Mendoza on the hook for the Yankees. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Chad Curtis. Missed the outside corner, 2-2. Piazza tried to pull that pitch back in.
Yeah, because actually his target was off the plate away. Watch how Mike Piazza sets up away. Great shot from our catcher cam, and as you see once again, even from our center field camera, that ball was outside.
Now to count 2 balls, 2 strikes. Into right center field. McRae is back on the track to pull it in, 1 down. 1 on, 1 out. Brocious back to first. Posada will hit. There is a view from the blimp. Down below we have had action.
I just read this week where this is the 50th anniversary of the Snoopy creator, Charles Schultz, who's still alive and well, 76 years young, lives in Northern California. Snoopy's been around, man.
1 on, 1 out. Posada calls time. Kirk Wendell, a right-hander, and now the closer for the Mets, Armando Benitez, getting loose here in the 8th inning. Chili Davis is on deck for the Yankees, and he will bat here in the 8th inning if there is no double play. Posada. That's foul outside third. Strike 1. Posada has homered today and struck out twice. John Franco with that electric stimulation machine hooked up to the finger as he watches from out in the Mets bullpen. From Cook to first. Mets, I'm sure, don't expect Brocious try to steal here. He's stolen 3 bases. It's a 1-run game, 1 on, 1 out. Brocious stays put on a pitch up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike, and all of a sudden Mike Piazza, who's caught 3 in this series, is a weapon behind the plate for the Mets.
You know, the one thing Brocious was doing, he was moving up in the as close to Olerud as he can to almost, it appeared to me, that he was trying to block. Look how close he is. Look at that. A little gamesmanship right there.
Posada jammed and he fouls it out of play, and you can see Olerud having to come in all the way onto the grass to get out of the way of Brocious.
That's exactly right. So what Scott Brocious is doing, he's pressing Olerud forward, because the farther he gets toward home plate, the farther John Olerud has to get to come back to cover first. I've never seen that before. Of course, this is a way of coping with that particular type of defense. And Bobby Valentine is set up with his first baseman, John Olerud. That's very smart base running.
He just creeps on with Olerud. Posada pops another foul and out of play. Heck, Brocious almost followed Olerud right onto the grass.
Give him a glove and you couldn't tell who was playing first. I think Jose Cardinel's whispering those things to Brocious, and there was a great base runner right there. Talk about a guy who took advantage of all the elements. He's behind what's happening right here, I guarantee you.
One ball, two strikes on the man at the plate, Jorge Posada. One on, one out. Fastball's up, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It would be interesting for the first base umpire to make a call if Olerud retreats. Would Sam Holbrook call Brocious out for being out of the baseline? You can be out of the baseline toward home just like you can away from toward the outfield side. He's certainly within range right there, and I guess he knows it.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 on, 1 out. 1-run Mets lead here in the 8th. Into left field, well hit. Track wall number 6 on the day for the Yankees, and they're up by 1. Wasn't enough for the Yankees. 6 might be 8-7 Yankees here in the 8th. And now Chili Davis will come off the bench and bat for the Yankees and replace Mendoza. So even with that 3-run 7th inning now, if his bullpen mates can hang on, Mendoza would be in line for the win. 1 out, nobody on. Chili Davis. And the shortstop, Ordonez. Has time, 2 out.
Dennis Cook tries to come inside on Posada. Jorge says, nope, I'll handle this one. First 2-home-run game of the year for Jorge Posada. Wow. 1 left-handed and 1 right-handed.
Two out, nobody on for Knobloch, who's homered today. Another click off the bat. 6th time that's happened today for the Yankees. O'Neill has 2, Posada has 2. You have to go all the way back to 1990 to find the last time the Yankees hit 6 home runs in a game. It came at Minnesota. They didn't have to travel that far for this road game, and the 6 home run bombing of the Mets to this point. 8-7, the Yankees out in front here in the 8th, and a 2-ball 1-strike count on Knobloch. The 2-1 pitch to Chuck for his 3rd hit. 3 balls and a strike, and Cook looks like he is about finished. Three balls and a strike. In case you're wondering what the delay is, there's a little skirmish right up above us. Club record is 8 home runs in 1 game for the Yankees, which came back in 1939. A 2-out walk is handed to Knobloch on base for the 3rd time this afternoon. And with Bernie Williams coming up, do they put Bernie on his power side, flip him around, make him bat left-handed against a right-hander out of their bullpen, or do they try to get one more out of Cook?
Well, if you're going to try to get one more out and Bernie Williams gets on, you're more inclined to leave him in to face Paul O'Neill. Looks like they're going to make a move immediately.
So with Williams coming up, another call to the bullpen. Dennis Cook gave up a leadoff walk, and then that. Cook knew it. Posada knew it. The 6th home run of the afternoon for the Yankees. Another pitching change. Cook is gone, largely thanks to this from Jorge Posada. Well, the 5th pitcher of the day is Turk Wendell. Good numbers, a lot of work. This will be his 46th game of the year. And he leads the National League with those appearances.
Secrets of Turk's success: one slider after another to right-handed batters, not nearly as many sliders to left-handed batters. He relies more on the fastball, I think, the lefties.
Well, you just had a shot of Jorge Posada. Why do the Yankees consider this guy a major weapon? How many teams have a catcher that young that can step to the plate from each side and go deep as he has here this afternoon to put the Yankees back out in front?
He's still a little rough around the edges as far as the catcher is concerned, but keep in mind that Jorge signed as a second baseman, played shortstop a lot his first 2 years of professional ball. So he's really, it's on the job training, learning the position of catching in the big leagues.
Now we'll take a look, and you mentioned it, Tim, during the break. Take a look and see if Knobloch does what Brocious did, but they hold him on the conventional way.
Yeah. I wonder if Bobby Valentine told Olerud to hold him on conventionally because of what Brocious was doing with Posada at the plate.
It also makes a difference, however, between a right-hander and a left-hander on the mound.
Yeah, that's true.
So Cook, the lefty, pictured there, is gone, and with a right-hander on the mound, Olerud plays on the bag. Knobloch has been caught stealing once today, and Williams took a ball, now another. It's 2-0. Long half inning for the Mets. The 2-0. Now what Williams has got in his mind on a 2-0 pitch. He takes ball 3 down and in, 3-0.
That's why it's bad to jam a hitter with the count 2 balls and no strikes. 0-2's all right, but 2-0, you're looking inside. A guy who is jammable is certainly less jammable, and here it is. They're coming back inside, 3-0.
Wendell missed by 20. as it floated up and away for ball 4. That's the third walk in this inning. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without expressed written consent. Well, from offense here at Shea Stadium between the Yankees and the Mets to the 70th Midsummer Classic coming up on Tuesday night in Boston. The All-Stars will be taking their hacks at the Green Monster. Here's Wendell now dealing with Paul O'Neill. Here's the point you brought up earlier. You take Cook out. You hope he ends the inning with Williams, which he could not. Stanton getting ready to pitch the bottom of this 8th inning, and now Wendell has to face Paul O'Neill.
Yeah. Paul already with 2 home runs in this game. No place to put him.
A 1-0 pitch. Strike at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike.
What would be the odds, the way Derek Jeter has played the first half of the season, to go into a game and say in the top of the 8th, the Yankees are going to have 8 runs scored and 6 home runs, and Derek Jeter not contributing any of that, not even a hit.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 on, 2 out. And Wendell's having trouble throwing strikes. 2-1. Pat Mahomes is loosening for the 2nd time today. Not typically getting loose in a 1-run game in the 8th inning. But this is not a typical game. That we have determined. 2-1. O'Neill pops it the other way. Henderson hardly has to move. Barely did. The inning is over, but not before major damage. A leadoff walk, a 1-out 2-run shot by Posada. Yankees back up by 1.
Good pitches? No, not there. Middle of the plate, not there. That was a good pitch. Posada hit the other way. Not there, down and in. High fastball, not there. Middle in. Some people are under the impression that anytime a guy hits a home run, it's a mistake. But in my judgment, my view from those swings, 5 of the 6 home runs that were hit by the Yankees today were not good pitches.
Robin Ventura will lead off against Mike Stanton, the 3rd pitcher of the day for the Yankees, who to this point have simply outslugged the Mets. Numbers for Stanton on the year. Ventura, bad foot and all, tries to bunt. Good play by Posada out at first. Ventura not running well. Still, it took a very good play from Posada to retire the first man here in the 8th.
It was fine play by Posada. Realizing he has to get rid of it quickly. Nice play on the other end, dug out by Tino Martinez. Piazza, obviously the guy who should field that ball because he's the one going toward first base.
Here is Todd Pratt to pinch hit for the Mets. Ventura takes that guard off the left foot. Pratt is the 3rd man off the bench for Bobby Valentine. So Wendell ends up getting 1 out. Goes a 3rd of an inning with a walk. Big swing by Pratt. Strike 2. Oh, and 2 the count. 1 out, nobody on. Pratt. Stanton went right through him. 2 up, 2 down for the Mets here in the 8th inning.
Shortstop ready or don't get.
The batter will be Ordonez, who's 0 for 1 plus 2 sac flies. And a delivery low from Stanton, ball 1. Stanton, who first made his presence felt in the big leagues with the Atlanta Braves, no stranger to pitching here at Shea Stadium. Trying to retire the Mets in order for just the second time today. Pettit did so back in the 6th inning, his final inning of work. Looked like Ordonez was taking a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It is very difficult to get across to young hitters that if you take, you hit. Obviously, if you don't.
Off the end of the bat to center, Bernie Williams, an easy play, and the Mets go in order.
If you continue to swing at everything, and that's what that means, they'll continue to throw you balls, not strikes.
Good work by Stanton. A 1-2-3-8. Yankees still up by 1.
You got the feeling that whoever had the lead in the 9th inning would have a considerable advantage. Of course, if the Mets had the lead, they could bring in Armando Benitez to pitch to the Yankees. And now that the Yankees have the lead, their main man, Mariano Rivera, will be the pitcher in the bottom of the 9th. 2 dominant closers for these 2 ball clubs.
One's watching Benitez, the other's getting ready. Rivera pitches up to Brocious, who is 1 for 3, a single, a walk, and a run scored. He walked to start the 8th inning after that dramatic 3-run home run by Piazza in the bottom of the 7th inning with 2 out.
There it is. There it is. Here I am going to my right, too.
Yeah. I think I just unplugged my headset.
Hi,
Rough road ahead.
Yeah, right. That was close.
You look at the All-Star break through August 5th and the winning percentage and what the Mets have to do. The reason why we sound like we're speaking English for the first time in our lives. August 5th through the end of the season, it gets only tougher for the New York Mets, and it includes 3 West Coast swings for the Mets. Pitch high, 3-1. We had a foul ball off the bat of Brocious that literally split right in between us.
Hit our monitor.
Thing's tough.
See, if I'd have gone to my left then, I'd have gotten nailed.
3-1 pitch. 2-out walk.
Left fielder Chad Curtis.
There's a strike over the outside corner. Curtis, his 3rd at bat. He's 0 for 2. Struck out and flied out since taking over for Leday, who homered in his final at bat in the 5th. Brocious running. Can Piazza get his 4th of the series? No. Into center, and Brocious pops up and heads to 3rd, and there's an extra run with 2 out.
Number of outs often dictates whether you run or not. Real running jump by Scott Brocious. The ball into the first base side of the infield. Alfonso had no chance. So a throwing error on Mike Piazza. 5th error of the year for Piazza.
Stolen base for Brocious, number 4. The 0-2 to Curtis. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Joe, that's a big run out there for the Yankees, and the reason is, in my view, Ricky Henderson. Because Ricky Henderson's going to try to entice a walk out of Rivera, and if he gets on, and he could not only be the potential tying run, but he could steal 2nd base.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Curtis. 2-2.
Henderson due up 2nd in the bottom of the 9th inning.
We'll have McRae, then Henderson, 2 leadoff types. Then Alfonso, and then runners on. You get into Olrud and Piazza. Top of the order. Part of it, at least, will bat in the 9th inning for the Mets. It was 0-2. It's now 3-2 on Chad Curtis with Posada. 2 home runs on the day on deck. Mahomes has got to try to get Curtis. Curtis is hitting only .214. Brocious a 2-out walk, then the steal, the error on the throw. 3-2. Not even close. Back-to-back walks. 7th walk handed to the Yankees this afternoon, and the Yankees are just too good to hand 7 walks to and hope you can beat them.
I don't think Chad Curtis should be running in this situation. And the reason is, if he steals second base, they're going to walk Posada. And Luis Sojo or a right-hander would have to be the batter. I think Curtis stays put to give Posada a chance to hit here.
And it opens up that right side as well as he bats left-handed. The step to third, look to first move, which actually fooled the Mets on a Fox Saturday baseball game of the week 2 weeks ago in St. Louis. Doesn't work here. First and third, 2 out. Big swing by Posada, strike 1. Holmes has made this inning difficult. Hasn't been able to throw strikes after retiring Jeter and Martinez. He's walked Brocious and Curtis. Posada waiting for the 0-1. Again for the Mets in the bottom of this 9th inning. McRae, Henderson, Alfonso. Anybody gets on Olerud. After that, Piazza. 1 ball, 1 strike. To the right side for Alfonso. Gets a tricky hop. Made a tough play look very easy. And the Yankees strand a couple. They've left 9. 1 error in the inning. McRae, Henderson, Alfonso coming up for the Mets. Brian McRae will lead off here in the 9th inning. Only his 2nd at bat. Brian McRae trying to get something started. Yankees lead 8-7. And a strike over the inside corner from Rivera. One ball, 1 strike.
That's that cut fastball that Rivera throws to left-handed batters. It acts like a slider, but there's a later movement to it. It's a reason for its effectiveness.
A high strike. McRae didn't agree, and now he's in the hole 1-2.
How many times have you seen that call this year?
On 1-2. McRae breaks his back. Tough play, Knobloch. Remember the throw. Trouble. Got it. And a big play for the Yankees and Chuck Knobloch. And there's one where he didn't have to think. He got rid of it in a hurry, and he got it to first, and a nod of approval from Joe Torre.
On his reaction plays, he doesn't think about it. Well, the mind's a great thing if you don't have to use it. Fine play by Knobloch to just get McRae at first. Bang, bang.
Now McRae's helmet after that play ended up at home plate. Now Ricky Henderson, who is at a perfect day at the plate, takes a blistering fastball for strike one. McRae's helmet after that play ended up back at home plate, right at the feet of the home plate umpire, Jeff Kellogg. I think in mild protest to that second strike call. McRae's still hot about it. 1 ball, 1 strike on Ricky Henderson. He singled twice, doubled, scored twice, walked, and been caught stealing.
Ricky will steal that high strike right here. Anything above the belt's going to be a ball to him.
That's low. 2-1. What a series so far for Mike Piazza. The Mets down by a run here in the 9th inning as Henderson takes that high delivery. 3-1. A 1-out walk. 5 times on base today for Ricky Henderson, and there's the tying run.
We talked about it in the bottom of the 8th inning. Unless the Yankees scored again, Ricky Henderson was going to be a key here in the bottom of the 9th inning. You could almost feel that type of at-bat coming with Rivera against Henderson.
23 come from behind victories for the Mets this season, 3rd in the league. And Edgardo Alfonzo hitless on the day. Bats with 1 on, 1 out. And a strike from Rivera. Rivera blew a save chance this past week while in Detroit. But it was a game the Yankees eventually came back to win. He has a 1-run lead to protect here in the 9th inning. 1 on, 1 out. Runner was going, but time was called at the plate.
And that time was called by Ricky Henderson's teammate, Edgardo Alfonzo. He had waited long enough.
The count on Alfonzo. Henderson starts and stops, and Alfonzo pops it into left center field. Well hit. Back at the track is Williams, and he missed it. Henderson ends up at 3rd. The potential winning run. Edgardo Alfonzo at 2nd with only 1 out here in the 9th.
There were 2 feelers on that play. Bernie Williams feeling for the wall, thinking it's there and it's not. A ball that should have been caught. Look at the right hand. And then Ricky Henderson, who should have been around second base, wasn't to second base, and Ricky may have been going back to first base. Ricky's got a score on that ball.
Now Olrud comes up empty. Infield is in, and that consecutive game streak for the Yankees in jeopardy of 124 straight when taking a lead into the 9th inning. It's an 8-7 Yankee lead, second and third, one out, and it's up to Olrud with Piazza on deck. Good swing, but strike two.
And Bernie Williams jumps up and makes that play. Ricky Henderson, even if he's by the bag, can easily get back to first base. If he's by the bag, he scores.
The count 0-2 on Olrud. Rivera needs the strikeout. To the first baseman, Martinez, out, two gone. The runners have to hold, and Piazza will walk in. With first base open, I would be surprised if they pitched to Piazza.
I think you got to walk him, even though you're facing the left-hander up. And Matt Franco, best pinch hitter the Mets have. I think you got to walk Piazza right here.
They will. Second intentional pass being handed to Mike Piazza here this afternoon. That's ball three of the intentional pass. This will load him up. And it will load him up for Matt Franco, who will come off the bench. And again, to reiterate, even though Williams got back there, they ruled that a double for Alfonso. It set up second and third, one out, but Olrud grounded out. And now with runners at first, second, and third, it's up to Matt Franco.
Jose Cardinal, who directs the outfielders, moving Bernie Williams back. Also Paul O'Neill. You have to respect the power of Matt Franco.
Tying run 90 feet away. Potential winning run at second. Two out. Matt Franco. Strike one. This could be the final strokes for the Mets here today in a game that they desperately want. Had a seventh inning lead, could not hang on, and against one of the best closers in all of baseball, have a rare ninth inning chance. Bases loaded, two out. Strike two, and the Yankees are one strike away from a win here at Shea.
Franco cuts down on his swing with two strikes and tries to hit the ball to left field. Tough assignment against Rivera.
Just low for ball one.
You could read Joe Torre's lips. That ball's not low, but it was called low.
1-2. Matt Franco trying to be the hero. Into right field, a base hit. Into score Henderson. Into score Alfonso. Mets win on a hit by Matt Franco.
Is it a strike? Joe Torre thought so. The 0-2 pitch. Call the ball. The 1-2 pitch wins it for the Mets.
Two strikes on Franco, and he is the hero on a Saturday afternoon, and the New York Mets will take their first series from the New York Yankees since interleague play began. They won last night 5-2, and they win today in a thriller as Alfonso scores the winning run. They get the one-run victory here this afternoon. A 9-8 Mets win over the Yankees.